I always learned with base coating everything with acrylics, Tamiya mostly, and then all flesh tones are always oils, and then kind of going back with each one so you get the desired effect. Whatever looks good to you, type of thing, is the right way. So.
Prime them all with acrylics?
I don't prime anything. Never liked it. I think it boogs up the detail for a 35th scale figure, especially faces. It's just another step and another
So you're adding
layer.
a layer of paint that you don't
Yeah,
need.
you don't really need it. For metal figures, it's always a good idea to prime them, just because it tends to bring out more of the detail. So, usually the way I start to do a figure is the face first. I usually get everything set on a base, and I just make these bases in my garage, little pedestal bases or small little bases. But you get the figure set to the right pose, you make a little bit of groundwork, and you peg them with like a paper clip into the base so he's stationary, and you know about where everything is going to be, and you don't have to worry about the groundwork at this point. It's just kind of
yeah, the base
real
is there
rough.
to hold it as you're
Yeah,
painting, basically.
and it's basically like this, but now I'm not
Well, I use
having to
bases to
transfer
like
the
the heads
figure.
on, so.
It's just another step of not having to touch it, because you don't want to touch your figures because the oil from your hands are going to give it a sheen that doesn't look natural on clothing. So this is always how I start, and then the face would be next, which I always use hornet heads. I just have good luck with hornet heads.
Good expressions.
Yeah, they're all great. There's very few duds in that whole line, but they paint really well. They're real smooth, so you can feather really well too. So first I get the guy set, pop his head off on some of them, some of them I don't. But this guy, they just kind of blue tacked in place. And then I just use like an old dowel with a paper clip. And then all that would be, just get a piece of plastic card. And the oils I use are a little bit of everything.
I have a disposable towel here.
That's all right. This is fine.
So you just use plastic?
Yeah, just a scrap of plastic. For the base coat for the flesh tones, it's Grombacher transparent red oxide. And you can get that at Dick Blick, any art supply store except Michael's. Michael's doesn't carry it. I'm not sure. And then, what's this one? Burnt umber.
Grumbacher?
Yeah.
I got tubes that look like this.
Yeah, they all do after a while. They get really nasty looking.
Especially the gummed up one.
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
And for, I don't really use optovisors because the older you get, the worse your eyes get. You just go to Walgreens and get reading glasses. They're like $10,
Yep.
and you can get them as strong or as weak as you want. I get a stronger pair for doing faces and a less stronger pair
Yeah, I
for
went out and
doing.
bought like a 10.
Yeah.
A 4 and a 10, I think I have.
Yeah, they last a long time unless you scratch them up. So for the base coat, you just mix red oxide and raw umber, or whatever that burnt umber is. Just a little bit of thinner, and you just want it really thin. Just not very. You don't want it to be real thick. And then just kind of paint it on. And if you use your fingers just to level it on the edge of your workbench, it keeps your hand a little more steady and you can get a little bit more detail that way. But you just kind of paint it on. Well, this is a process too. You want these oils to evaporate a little bit. Between putting this base slush on and kind of just letting it go, and make sure you get it in the mouth and in the ears and the eyes too.
So it's just like a slurry, basically.
Yeah, it's a thinned, almost like a heavy wash.
Right.
A little bit more pigment than a wash would be.
Those two colors are mixed 50-50 then?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can go, if you like more of a redder face, you can add a little bit more of the red. Like I suppose if it was somebody that's running, you know, their blood's moving a little quicker, they're, as opposed to somebody standing out in the cold, they're more pale. So, and then you just take a just a soft cheapo brush and just kind of drag it down, flip it over,
From the top down?
top down always.
Okay.
Reminds me of the Verlinda way.
It's pretty close.
Basically,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah, yeah.
You've changed your colors though, haven't you? What he uses.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he uses. There was some yellow ochre involved with his stuff.
Yeah, there
so
was. That's what he uses.
it's just, but you just have to dry it a couple times. And basically, you're just kind of highlighting the detail, almost like a dry brush. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
staining it, and it kind of gives you
Yeah,
like
it's sort
a
of
map
reverse.
of where you want to
You're
highlight
extracting,
and where you want to have
coming
shadows.
through, I guess.
When these guys, after you get them base coated, you want to let the oil evaporate a little bit. Otherwise, it tends to blend into like a brown
Right,
goo.
mush.
Yeah.
Which one does it connect?
So what are you gonna do with the airbrush then?
Start on the figures.
I don't know how high he wants
Yeah, I
it.
don't
You
know
can
what-
actually turn it around,
Doing what?
and we'll see the
Base
pressure
coating.
there.
Okay.
I don't know
Is there
what he
any-
has in it.
So after you get the faces base coated with that kind of thick wash, you let that dry out a little bit. Then you go to the figure, mask off the base. If I had any fingernails.
So what do you do? Put a basic field gray?
No. I use, whenever I run out of a paint,
Yeah.
it turns into my base paint from now on. So it all gets mixed together.
Oh, so you're priming the figure then?
Yeah.
Because Mike Good used
Well,
to paint.
it's not a priming. It's a base coating for like a shadow coat
Right,
almost.
because Mike Good used to, he would totally paint a figure with an airbrush. Just
Oh, I
by-
always try to do as much as I can with an airbrush.
Just by moving it
Yep.
back, forward, letting the directional light flow hit it properly.
Right.
And he'd lighten the shades. It's like, I mean, it's neat. It works very well. But it's a pain in the ass. It really is.
It's actually a lot quicker.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot cleaner of a look
So
too.
that's what you're going to do today then?
Yep.
All right, cool.
So,
I didn't know you did that.
blue tack out of this time. So off go the face glasses. I go the other ones.
Them and
Is it coming? It's coming out after.
Skill at all.
and I just can't.
All right. So in that case, if you can't keep them on the base, you just get a little 2x2 scrap of wood and peg them onto there. And my base coat is, like I said, always a mix of all the blacks and browns and greens that I have in Dead Tamiya bottles. Alright, any more pressure in that thing, or?
Yeah, I get
What do you usually go? You keep going up to, you almost have it at 20.
Yeah, 20. Thanks. And this is pretty much already thinned.
bread.
Is it coming out?
Yep. All right. So when you base a figure, you're always shooting from the bottom up because you want the shadows to be dark. But you're going to base coat everything. But make sure you start with the lowers, and now you shoot up.
So basically, you don't even care if there's yellow showing when you're done. Right now, you're shooting for the shadows.
Yeah, the whole thing gets painted with this base coat.
Where'd you thin your tomato?
Tamiya lacquer thinner.
Yeah. The one thing about the Tamiya lacquer thinner,
Is it the yellow
you
or
get
the
less
regular?
point healing, less, what is it, atomization?
It's a lot smoother
You
too.
know, where it starts turning into dust.
Doesn't matter which one. What's the yellow one with the yellow cover or the white?
Um,
Does it make a difference?
I don't think it does, but I just like using the
White.
the
lacquer.
lacquer.
thinner.
Okay, the lacquer. Gotcha, that's the yellow. Yeah.
Good stuff. Been doing it since I was like 3.
What color is that?
It's a mix of all the crap that I've got ends. It's just
Oh, I see.
just the end of all the Cihlar mixed together for a base coat,
Oh, I
like
see.
a brownish,
That's a good idea.
blackish, greenish goo.
That's a great idea.
What rate did you finish?
Just so it's kind of milky.
What pressure you shoot there, Greg?
This is 20.
It really doesn't matter though, does it?
No, as long, it's a little bit. As long as you got enough to shoot in there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's base coated.
70 pounds.
That's a great
I
idea.
should just take all those.
Leftovers when you're airbrushing.
If you're gonna prime certain things. Yeah.
What's the matter?
Thinking about how much we actually really, yeah, you're right. See, I love the trees. But I can't. You install them all. So I'm wondering how the animals get. Yeah. But probably realistically, well, actually, you're shooting
I haven't tried it yet. I'm looking forward to that. These
they'll be here too, but you know what? That's okay. We can make it work.
So that looks like Greg, that one looks like
I don't know if that actually
covered the whole
delivers them.
figure with.
Yeah, I do. They all get primed with it.
What is it, 12? Could we?
Base work with that color?
They say Monday? That'd
What?
be great. Base work if they come in, we'd have, that'd be really cool.
For the groundwork type of stuff, I usually have those big jars of acrylics from like Michael's, where they're like $1 a piece.
Like the deltas.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
You just mix like the black and the brown
Yeah.
Together for different consistencies.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything gets washed with that. And the this stuff works awesome for groundwork too. This dust and deposit stuff, that's the best.
You put that on dry or you put it on wet?
On the groundwork, after the groundwork is dried up, hardened up.
Because that's the powder, right?
No, this is the liquid.
Oh, that's the liquid.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I was gonna, Greg, if you put your base down and you set it in place.
Are you on
Just getting some more of the white. This is just the titanium white, Windsor Newton titanium white. This is the white I use. Careful, the base coat is drying up. Go back to the base. And I don't know where these brushes came from, but Mary found a whole bunch of them, and they were nice and cheap, like $1 a piece. This is my last group of them, so I need to find more of them. But
What are they? What company?
I don't know. There's nothing on them. I think they
They're
could have
low
been
Cornells.
they could have been testers,
They look
possibly.
like little Cornells.
Here it is, testers from China. But you can do everything from an eyeball to a full face with these guys. They get a really sharp point on them. All right, so for the first coat of highlights for the faces, you take a little bit of the cadmium red and a little bit of the white.
Make it sort of a rose madder color.
Yeah, more on the red side than the light white side, like a deep flesh color. And just kind of roll it around until you get a little mix of it. And they always start with like the cheeks and the nose.
So you're only painting in certain areas with this color?
Just the highlight where you where you brushed off
Taking the notes, Brett?
the base wash, and that it kind of gives you like that roadmap of where to highlight.
I got you.
You was a pro. Pro's pro.
Yeah, I just want to see real quick too. When you were wiping off the first coat, were you trying to do it like from a top down?
Yeah, only top down.
Top down.
Don't scrub it, just top
Yeah,
down.
top down. I think that's the problem most of us are having. We're just like white, doing that. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, exactly.
And you kind of want it to be
Same here, man.
more on the red side here.
Oh, really?
So add a little bit more red. It's too light.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing similar, but I just want to see what he's using for blending. Like, are you doing like a stippling action on blending? Or are you actually doing just smearing it in, sort of?
No, just picking out the highlights.
So no blending?
Not yet.
Okay.
But again, for the first coat of highlights, you want it to be a little bit on the red side.
Better.
That's just a little bit more color to the face and doesn't look washed out.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I brought that as a tribute to you.
I can't stay for
Is it clear over there? Is it fairly clear?
Yeah, no. I made a definite promise. A couple hours, I'm having my girl at the pool with the kids. I'm like, yeah, I heard the weather said so. And then my app was saying,
I saw those forecasts and they were saying maybe every few days.
yeah, but I'm south and west.
Yeah, so
I get a little rain. Yeah, which one? Be nice.
showing me something that
Now, did yours do movies?
Yeah, I think it does.
What's that?
Ryan don't find
Yes, we got it.
Ryan down exactly.
Wrap my finger around
What does he use for base color?
It was a combination of whatever he had left over from
See, mine has a little deal here that's photo and movie. So
Yeah.
I
like.
I want to do every one of his whole
That's all I use.
And then for the lips,
sorry, I've always used a
just
can.
straight cadmium red.
Probably something obvious. Well, that's your off-on switch, I think, right?
And none of us is blended.
Nah, not really. Just a little.
So smooth.
So your color you're painting now was cadmium red, not the transparent?
It's like a focus.
It's whichever, this one.
Oh, okay.
That cadmium.
Yeah, that's my base.
Sorry. Usually there's a button on there that has something.
Well, he's
He did that.
Yeah, when you get done with yours.
Oh, yeah.
he was by himself.
Recognize the name. Recognize the name. I'm tickled to see that Chris Gass from Cass has a phone. I've seen this in like 14 different magazines. I've seen it in person. Yeah. you were mentioning that. Can't get too elaborate about it. No, that's cool.
They're vicious, man. You ever been to Carp? Carp Club? No, we have one. Yeah.
There's actually some posted on Legacy Spec because that's where we're
Yeah, we had a guy.
you gotta see it. Type in Legacy. Yeah, I did see that. Because it could be changes. That's a record button.
Yes.
It's only the head about it'll probably be like 8 seconds of frame time. You know what I mean? Instead of pressing this button, press that button. Start your video.
Right.
Sorry. No worries, man. It's my bad. Usually there's a button on there that has something. Tickled to see that. This guy Sanders, I've seen this in a
Oh, they're vicious, man. You ever been to Carp? Carp Club? Carp Club? Yep. No, man, we had one. We had one. In Texas, that was the skill mode. Cars. Used to be. Yep. Yeah, we had a guy who used to have Dallas. He was doing carb. This is the guy that all the CE market like Ledge
That's a recording.
Yes. I beat him in a show. That's the guy. That's the guy. Oh,
Instead of pressing this button, press that button. Start your video.
I dinged him on him and I made sure that was recording.
Right. Yep. That's it.
Oh, all right, that's cool then. Good work, buddy.
I was like, it's got to be something similar. So yeah, that's great.
Yep.
So that takes care of all your low points, and then you just come in at the highlights?
Yeah. Gives you like a roadmap of what to highlight. Plus, it just gets a lot of the oil off.
He's an asshole. That's him, dude. That's why I said that. I said, man, that the guy.
It's a real time. That's not. You don't even need the flashlight. Pick up your
And then for the second highlight, just add a little bit more white and repeat the same process.
You want me to hold it?
Tell me some of this shit's dope induced. Please tell me.
That's not bad. It's gonna have to work.
Tell me what you need. He's just very the mix there. And I really thought that was a little dark. You can actually do it.
So the second highlight, Greg, you just add more titanium white.
Yep.
Yeah. My drinking buddy? Your drinking buddy? Yeah. Take him everywhere you go. You're going back and doing highlights again right now?
Yeah, this is the second highlight. There's probably around 3 or 4 different highlights.
Okay. That's awesome. Little place, yeah.
It's your second highlight, right?
Yep, this is the second. There'll be about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 highlights. But the thing with oil is you want to let it dry up for a day or a night before you keep on highlighting it. Because if you do too much at once, it's just going to turn into like a brown mess of detail.
You ever use
You don't really give much drying time between highlights, right? You just go from one to another to another?
Yeah. It will dry out probably 5 or 10 minutes, a little bit. But if you want to, you don't want to. You have to know when to say when. You need to put it down after about 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, it just everything just blends together.
Yeah, I mean, about to.
So, are you coming up to a break time here then soon?
Yep.
All right, then we'll get the grill fired up. Anybody hungry? He's gonna go. We got brats, we got hot dogs, we got some beers, we got some sodas, and donations. If anybody want to throw some bucks in the donation tin up there. So, are you gonna wait on the big figure, or are you gonna throw a highlight on yet?
I'm gonna.
Do that after
We
lunch?
can do either one. Doesn't matter.
Do it after
That
lunch.
oil's not going anywhere.
Okay, cool.
He points at me because he looks at my drink.
You ever use any of the dryers?
Not really. I know it's not something you could start and
You
finish.
probably work on multiple figures at a
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, holy crap, especially when we're vendors. Change their timing. Yes.
When they move down the road, they're sucking dirt all over.
I know, I heard about that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know that feeling. And nobody's immune.
Yeah. Over the years, though, in the days, always we had guys that were involved back in the small compound. Like 6 months later, yeah, we'll go to
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. They used to wait till Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. My friend is from Madison. Kind of joking it off. Like,
Yeah, now it's like,
yeah. Did you see this?
Yeah, so we got two Nancy from Branson. So we thought, oh yeah, we can do this.
well, in the old definition.
Yeah.
We couldn't ski down there.
Oh, nice. It's fun. It sounds like a really down to earth.
I was getting back this way so I get started.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna get a couple
Close-ups
of this guy. Well, you know, he's gonna play the game.
And when you do the highlights, you kind of want to pull it down too, from the cheekbones, the creases, underneath your nostrils. Kind of pull it down so it looks like the highlights are still highlights. Like on the cheekbones.
You know how, with poly, S and poly scale, I made my washes, well, I went to poly
Need to
scale.
hold it while you adjust it or no?
I just kept working.
I need to learn how to
You
take a
couldn't just
freaking
let it
picture.
sit. You have to keep letting it,
I'm not
moving it
there to
around.
help you.
Keep it.
I'm more than a novice. It's too sophisticated for me.
The cadmium red oxide.
Well, yeah, they've got them based on colors.
Screw this.
Yeah, just those two. Yep. Just gradually adding more white.
And it's going to be a brownish color. And that's the thing is, those paints are.
All right, I'll have to actually
Do you want me to hold it for you?
get those later.
I want to put you.
I can zoom in. I can zoom in on the video.
Is it easier when I do it or no?
It's like, where's the
You have to feel it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guy was using
No pressure, no. It's all.
That's
No
all
worries.
good.
It's all good. I mean,
I know.
Oh yeah, let me have this.
I put them up there.
Yeah, I
about
can
here.
remember where they were. The gentleman's wanting to buy some.
Okay. Yeah. Is it Roger was asking about
Yes.
it? Okay, all right.
Yeah, he, he's probably, yeah, he probably got,
So now I said, we would take that.